Good morning. Imagine waking up to the gentle sounds of a peaceful town where life moves at a slower pace and neighbors greet each other with a smile. Today, we revisit a case that stunned the nation, a story that unfolded with the chilling speed of a thriller, capturing headlines and dominating news cycles for weeks. It's a case that forever changed the small college town of Moscow, Idaho, a place once synonymous with idyllic campus life and close-knit community bonds. Once a place where students felt safe, a haven for learning and growth, where dreams were nurtured and futures seemed bright. That sense of security was shattered, ripped apart by an act of violence that no one could have predicted. The tranquility was replaced by fear and uncertainty. All of this unfolded on November 13, 2022, a date that will forever be etched in the memories of those who lived through it, a stark reminder of the fragility of life. At the center of this tragedy, Bryan Kohberger, a name that quickly became infamous. A 28-year-old criminology PhD student, someone who dedicated his life to studying the very nature of crime, now accused of committing the ultimate one. He was a student from nearby Washington State University, a seemingly ordinary individual leading a double life, concealing a darkness that would soon shock the world. The irony of a crime scholar, someone deeply immersed in the study of criminal behavior, accused of such brutality, is a chilling paradox that continues to baffle investigators and the public alike. The news left the community reeling, struggling to comprehend the magnitude of the loss and the senselessness of the violence. But this story is about more than a suspect. It's about the lives that were tragically cut short, the dreams that were extinguished, and the futures that will never be. It's about 4 young lives stolen, 4 bright stars that were extinguished far too soon, leaving behind a void that can never truly be filled. Kayleegoncalves, a vibrant and ambitious young woman with a promising future ahead of her. Madisonmogenidaho, remembered for her infectious smile and her kind heart, a friend to all who knew her. Xanakernodle, a beloved daughter and sister, known for her intelligence and her unwavering spirit. And ethanchapin, a cherished son and brother, remembered for his infectious laughter and his zest for life. Their loss sent shockwaves far beyond Idaho, resonating across the nation and sparking a collective sense of grief and outrage. And the search for answers became a national obsession, as investigators worked tirelessly to piece together the puzzle and bring justice to the victims and their families. The tragedy would test the resolve of an entire town, forcing them to confront their deepest fears and to find strength and unity as they mourned the loss of their beloved students. To grasp the tragedy, we must remember the victims. Kaylee and Madison, inseparable best friends, were known for their energy and ambition, planning new adventures after graduation. Xana, vibrant and fiercely loyal, was a source of joy to all who knew her. Ethan, a triplet and devoted brother, brought laughter and warmth wherever he went. Their friendships, dreams, and love for life defined them. That night, they were together at the King Roadhouse, a place meant for safety and celebration. Their families and friends remember them not as victims, but as the heart of their community. Their absence left an unfillable void. November 12th. The date began innocently enough, indistinguishable from any other weekend in a bustling college town. The air was filled with the promise of relaxation, social gatherings, and the carefree spirit that defines university life. Little did anyone know, this particular weekend would soon be etched in the community's memory for the most horrific of reasons. Kaylee and Madison, 2 vibrant young women, decided to embrace the Friday night atmosphere with a fun night out. They laughed, shared stories, and enjoyed the camaraderie that comes with close friendship, unaware that these would be some of their last moments together. Meanwhile, Xana and Ethan, another pair of students, found themselves amidst the lively scene of a fraternity party. The music pulsed, the energy was high, and the night seemed full of endless possibilities as they navigated the crowded rooms and enjoyed the company of friends. As the early hours approached, the 4 friends, each having experienced their own slice of college nightlife, made their way back to the King Roadhouse. The house stood as a familiar beacon, a place of shared memories and the comfort of companionship. They were returning to what they considered a safe haven, a place to unwind and recharge before the start of a new day. Little did they know that the sanctuary they sought would soon become the epicenter of a nightmare, a scene of unimaginable horror that would shatter their lives and the peace of the entire community. Sometime between 4 o'clock and 4:25 a.m., as the town slumbered and the first hints of dawn were still distant, the unthinkable occurred. A killer, shrouded in darkness and driven by unknown motives, stealthily entered the King Road house. Moving silently and deliberately, the intruder navigated the familiar layout of the home, each step bringing them closer to their unsuspecting victims. In a fleeting moment of terror, one of the surviving roommates caught a glimpse of a masked figure as they were leaving the house, their presence a chilling testament to the horror that had just unfolded. Frozen in place, paralyzed by a fear so profound it defied description, the witness could only watch as the figure disappeared into the night. The next morning, the sun rose on a scene that would forever alter the landscape of the community. Law enforcement officers arrived at the King Road house to discover a scene of unimaginable violence. 4 young friends, their lives full of promise and potential, had been brutally stabbed to death in their own home. Adding to the perplexing nature of the crime, there were no signs of forced entry, suggesting the victims may have known their attacker, or that the killer had found another way inside. Nothing was stolen, ruling out robbery as a motive. The murder weapon itself was nowhere to be found, intensifying the mystery surrounding the horrific event. The house on King Road, once a place of laughter, friendship, and shared dreams, instantly transformed into a chilling symbol of terror, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic settings. The community awoke to a nightmare, gripped by a profound sense of grief and fear as news of the horrific crime spread like wildfire. A palpable sense of unease settled over the town, and a desperate search for answers began, fueled by the need to understand how such a tragedy could have occurred and to ensure that justice would be served. The investigation into the King Road murders had only just begun, and the road to uncovering the truth promised to be long and arduous. The murders sent shockwaves through Moscow and the University of Idaho. Fear replaced the usual campus energy. Students left town, unsure if they were safe. Police and university officials struggled to reassure the public, but the unknown suspect fueled anxiety. Memorials appeared across campus, and counseling services were overwhelmed. The investigation's secrecy led to rampant online speculation, compounding the pain for grieving families. Social media rumors complicated the search for the truth. Families, especially Kaylee's father, became vocal advocates for justice. The community rallied, but fear lingered. Everyone wondered who did this, and would they strike again? The Moscow Police Department, a force accustomed to handling local matters, found itself facing an unprecedented challenge. The sheer scale and brutality of the King Road homicides quickly overwhelmed their resources. Recognizing the need for specialized expertise and additional manpower, the Moscow police made the crucial decision to call in reinforcements. They reached out to both state and federal agencies, requesting assistance in what was rapidly becoming a complex and high-profile investigation. Seasoned investigators and forensic specialists from across the region converged on the small college town, ready to meticulously scour the King Road house for any trace of evidence. Every inch of the property became a focal point, with investigators meticulously documenting and collecting anything at all, that the killer might have inadvertently left behind. They knew that even the smallest detail could potentially hold the key to unlocking the mystery and bringing the perpetrator to justice. Surveillance footage from businesses and residences in the surrounding area became a critical source of potential clues. Detectives conducted countless interviews, speaking with neighbors, friends, and anyone who might have had information about the victims or the events leading up to the murders. Despite their tireless efforts, these interviews initially yielded few solid leads, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. But amidst the sea of information, a seemingly insignificant detail emerged: a white Hyundai Elantra. This vehicle, spotted in the vicinity of the King Road house around the time of the murders, gradually became a focus of the investigation. The breakthrough, a tan leather knife sheath, discovered near one of the victims, offered a tangible piece of evidence directly linked to the crime scene. Crucially, the sheath contained a single male DNA profile, offering a potential pathway to identifying the killer. Hopes were briefly raised, but the DNA didn't match any known offenders in existing databases, a frustrating setback in the investigation. This unexpected dead end only deepened the mystery, adding another layer of complexity to an already perplexing case. Undeterred, investigators meticulously tracked the Elantra's movements through surveillance footage and other means, piecing together its whereabouts in the weeks and days leading up to the murders. their efforts revealed a pattern, connecting it to the area surrounding the King Road residence on the night of the murders, further solidifying its significance. The car, the DNA found on the knife sheath, and the painstakingly constructed timeline began to coalesce, forming a chilling picture of the events that transpired that night. The killer, like a phantom, seemed to vanish into thin air after the horrific act. But despite the killer's attempts to disappear, the evidence, meticulously gathered and analyzed, was steadily mounting against them. The relentless search for a name, for an identity to attach to the growing mountain of evidence, intensified with each passing day. The community, gripped by fear and uncertainty, waited with bated breath, desperate for answers and for justice to be served. The white Hyundai Elantra led police to Bryan Kohberger, a WSU criminology student. Investigators discreetly obtained DNA from his family's trash in Pennsylvania. Forensic analysis confirmed the DNA from the knife sheath matched Kohberger's family. Cell phone records showed Kohberger near the King Road house at least 12 times before the murders, often late at night. On the night of the attack, his phone was off during the critical window. The evidence, car, DNA, and digital footprints, was overwhelming. Authorities secured an arrest warrant. Kohberger's cross-country trip with his father was closely monitored. The net was closing in. The suspect was no longer a ghost. The case was about to break wide open. On December 30th, 2022, FBI agents arrested Bryan Kohberger in Pennsylvania. The news brought relief to Moscow and the nation. Kohberger, the criminology student, was now the accused killer, a chilling twist. He waived extradition and was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary. In court, he showed no emotion as the charges were read. Investigators searched his apartment and office for more evidence. For the victims' families, the arrest brought a measure of comfort, but also new pain. The manhunt was over, but the fight for justice had just begun. The community braced for a long legal battle. The courtroom became a place of raw grief as families delivered impact statements. Stevegoncalves spoke of Kaylee's stolen future and the pain that never fades. Xana's family remembered her laughter and loyalty. Ethan's mother spoke of gratitude for his 20 years. Madison's family recalled her kindness and bright smile. Through tears, families honored their loved ones, ensuring they were remembered for their lives, not their deaths. Kohberger sat impassively, offering no response, no remorse. His silence was chilling, a void that deepened the family's pain. The lack of answers haunted everyone in the room. Justice felt both close and impossibly far. The community's wounds remained open. The verdict was clear. Bryan Kohberger was found guilty on all counts. The judge emphasized that justice, not the killer's motives, must remain the focus. Kohberger received life in prison without parole. For the families, it was a somber victory. Justice served, but hearts still broken. The King Road house was demolished, but the victims' memories endure through scholarships and memorials. Moscow began to heal, forever changed but united in resilience. The case stands as a reminder of life's fragility and the power of community. In the end, love and justice prevailed over darkness.